Good evening, black people and all allies fighting for black liberation, black prosperity, and black joy. I'm Charles Blow, and welcome to Prime. It boggles the mind why Democrats continue to search for bipartisanship when that has been illusory, if not non-existent, with the exception of a predictable few on a handful of issues. Democrats, Republicans don't want you to win. It's that simple. They want no successes on your watch, and they certainly don't want to participate in those victories. And yet, the reports keep pouring in of Democrats bending over backwards and gutting their bills in a desperate attempt to win Republican support. It seems to me that this has all been a performance, a going through the motions, a checking of the boxes so that Democrats could say that they tried, that they extended a hand but were rebuffed. Democrats always seem to want to win the moral advantage to say that they were playing the game with honor. But this is meaningless when Republicans no longer care about that form of morality, when they no longer want to play the game by the established rules at all. Democrats are playing an honor game. Republicans are playing an end game. Republicans are in a win at all cost mode. They don't really care how they sound today or how they will be judged by history. The only thing that matters is winning and retaining power, defending the narrative of America that white people created, and protecting the power and wealth they accrued because of it. Rather than continuing to peddle a false optimism that bipartisanship on most major legislation is truly possible with this Republican Party, Democrats need to tell their voters some uncomfortable truths. First, the obvious. Even though Democrats have control of the House and Senate, not everyone in their caucus is fully committed to a liberal policy agenda. That means that the moderates, like Manchin, are the de facto leaders of the Democratic majority. Nothing passes without their approval. And it is precisely for those reasons that very little is likely to get passed through this Senate that liberals will find satisfying. Democrats must brace for massive disappointment. The current status quo is an unwinnable negotiation because it isn't a negotiation. This is a war. And in it, all is fair. Republicans have embraced a liar and a racist in Donald Trump because their voters embraced a liar and a racist in Donald Trump. They have excused the insurrection at the Capitol. They are rushing to write voter restrictions that also give them more say over how results are verified. The Republican Party has given up on the idea of a true and full democracy. They are attempting to tear it down and erect in its place a system that reduces voter rolls and skews the will of the American people. For the Republican Party, the success of democracy, that growing numbers of people could participate, is in fact its failure. You can read more of my column at nytimes.com, but joining me now to discuss is the founder of the National Voter Protection Action Fund, Don Calloway. Mr. Calloway, how are you, sir?
I'm well, Brother Blow. Honored to finally meet you, man.
You as well. Now, we got to talk about this sweatshirt before we get started. Did you go to Grambling, sir?
I did not, but they are my SWAC brethren and sister, and I went to the Alabama Agricultural and Mechanical University. But every time I come on television, I try to rep one of our brother or sister HBCUs. So my first time with you, you know what it had to be. Shout out to Grambling.
There you go. Thank you so much for that, sir. I appreciate it. So why do you believe that Democrats continue to play this game of giving lip service to the process of we're going to find bipartisanship, that bipartisanship can be found, that the Republican Party is not adamant in their objection to you succeeding? Why do they keep playing this game with their voters and the American people?
It was for the one reason you didn't say in your preamble as well as your brilliant op-ed. Of course, I agreed with all of it, but the one thing you didn't say is that Democrats writ large on the state and federal level continue to pander to the elusive white suburban flyover country vote. That has not been with us since 1960. John F. Kennedy was the last Democratic president to win the majority of the white male vote. And I've been a state legislator. I've been a federal governmental operator for about 20 years now. And what I have seen is that Democrats put all of our energies, both from how we govern and how we campaign, into reaching out to these middle American, middle-class white suburban voters and even white rural voters who aren't coming back with us. They are simply gone. And I think that we have not yet embraced that as a party, and what we continue to do is spend resources going after them, as opposed to spending resources expanding and embracing the concept of a vibrant multiracial democracy and playing offense in trying to defeat some of these voter suppression bills. And that's where we can cobble together the coalition to win, as opposed to continuing to use precious and limited resources going after these unicorn white voters who ain't gonna be with us no more. White supremacy is at the root of that. But one thing that we do know in operating in this game, as long as you and I have, is that white supremacy by no means is limited to the Republican Party. It's certainly vocalized more by them, but it's not limited to them. So you have this very deeply rural white supremacist, historically Democratic voter, but that person is gone. That person is no longer with us. And we need to stop focusing our resources on chasing that unicorn which no longer exists and focus on building on the base, which is vibrant, multiracial,
But the
younger.
president of the United States, Joe Biden, made his whole career, made his campaign out of saying that he would be able to reach the white working class voter. That literally how he began his campaign this last cycle, and he keeps going back to this framework that basically, you know, the infrastructure plan is basically a blue collar jobs program, right? You know, it is reorient all these people who are losing their jobs, get them greener jobs for the future, so they don't have to worry about coal and manufacturing in the Rust Belt. It is also about, you know, bridges and tunnels and whatever. It is a blue collar thing, which is in writ large is aimed at these working class white voters, even though other people may benefit from that. You say these people are gone. The president does not believe that these people are gone. He believes he still has a shot. Is he wrong?
Yes, he's wrong. I mean, listen, Joe Biden has been a good president and is going to be a better president. And we are glad he is the president because he helped bring an end to the worst era in American politics. But he was the guy we needed to beat Donald Trump. That does not mean that he is the representative avatar of a president for a vibrant multiracial democracy, particularly a vibrant multiracial Democratic Party of the future. And the second thing is, yes, that the Democratic Party best represents the interests of the working white blue collar voter, working class voter. Of course we always have. Republicans represent the interests of the oligarchy, but that doesn't mean they're going to vote with us. We're talking about an extraordinarily low information voter. We're talking about someone who clings to religion and clings to guns and clings to white supremacy in such a way that they are never going to once again vote with a Democratic Party where they have to stand lock in arm step with the LGBTQIA community, with young people, with people who they simply don't understand. And they don't understand them because these are people whose narratives have been whitewashed from the story of this country, and there are still efforts to try to continue that remains the case. So, I mean, what you're saying is fundamentally like, listen, of course Democrats best represent the goals, the needs, the wants of that working white blue collar voter, but that doesn't matter. These are not people who are thinking with reason, and these are not people who are voting in their best interest.
So tomorrow, maybe the day after, but tomorrow I think the Senate will take a vote on this voting rights bill. It is expected to fail. Unless something miraculous happens overnight or in the morning. Maybe Joe Biden can meet personally with Joe Manchin. I don't know if that will work or not. But it is likely to fail. What is the Democrats' path forward if Republicans block the passage of this voting rights bill?
Well, the one thing that Republicans do not have is a reasonable legal argument that will defeat the strict scrutiny standard that has to be applied to voting rights cases. So we may not be able to pass legislation that will get past that will get us a John Lewis Voting Rights Act, and certainly not a For the People Act. But we got Cheryl Eiffel and the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. They do not. We have Kristen Clark and the Department of Justice. Thank God Joe Biden won, because now we have a Department of Justice which will bring actions against some of these oppressive voter suppression laws that we're seeing passed throughout the states. Unfortunately, and this is really unfortunate, that we weren't able to get voter protection done, and we will not be able to get voter protection done on the federal level via the legislative branch. But we do have the executive branch, meaning we have the Department of Justice, and we do have the courts. And voting rights decisions are on the side.
You said that we do have the court. They have the Supreme Court is stacked with three Trump appointees.
We don't have the Supreme Court, but we have great arguments that will work in the federal circuit courts. I'm still confident. Generally, voter suppression cases do not win in the circuit courts on the federal level in this country, particularly a whole lot of the actions that you see before it gets to the Supreme Court level. You're correct, as you point out. But as it rises through the federal court system, the district court system, the circuit court system, you don't see these objectively voter suppression, these throwing out of the purging of the rolls. You don't see the necessary signature match stuff. You don't see those things succeeding on the federal court level before you get to the United States Supreme Court. And part of the Democratic strategy has to be towards focusing our resources in waging these battles in the federal courts of our country.
Will those battles take place and be resolved in time for the midterms?
No, absolutely not. And part of the problem is that Democrats have to be offensive, bring these cases now, but the challenge is that when you take away pre-clearance, which would be restored by the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, as opposed to for the People Act, which is a whole nother ball of wax, but we have to have the John Lewis Act because that brings back pre-clearance. What pre-clearance does is cuts a whole lot of these Republican state legislatures and these county legislatures and those shenanigans off before they can become law, because the DOJ would have to pre-clear them before you can put a lot of this stuff into place. So right now, Democrats are going to be very much limited to small windows of opportunity right before elections fall, and it's going to be a very, very tight window, but we're going to have to call on temporary restraining orders and things of that nature, and people are going to have to pull out their best legal tools next fall as we approach the election season.
Well, Mr. Calloway, I thank you. I hope you're right. And Grambling thanks you. Thank you for joining me tonight.
God bless, brother.